Boy Scouts is about building campfires and going fishing and getting in the woods and having adventures and camping and hiking. But that's a vehicle to do other things. It's a vehicle to help young men, and in some of the scouting programs, which are coeducational, to help some young women, to really build character and to develop leadership skills at a very young age, to give them things to focus on in the areas of servant leadership, to teach them the values of not only commitment to community, but commitment to family, commitment to God. We're not afraid to use God in our terminology in scouting, and we make an oath, we make a commitment to God and country and to patriotism. And those are the long-standing values of scouting, which the campfires and the camping out are vehicles to help young men get interested in a program which teaches those values. Not too many years ago, at a kickoff of the Scouting Annual Fund, we typically have a dinner and have a guest speaker, and it's attended by a lot of people, 1,400 people. And we had a young man who was an Eagle Scout, and he came from a really, really tough part of the city. And he stood up in front of this group of mostly adults in his scout uniform, and he talked about what it was like growing up in his home and how he had to slip out of the back door in the morning in order to get to school without being beaten up if he went out the front door because of the gangs that were on the street. And he held up his hand and he gave the sign of the Crips and the Bloods, and he said, "These are the kinds of gangs that I was exposed to when I was growing up." But he said, "This is my gang." And he said, because of the Scouts, I can go to school, I can make my way to school, and they provide me a safe place to grow up. That's what we're all about. The next year, same annual dinner. Little kid, about this tall, little tow-headed boy who was in his Cub Scout uniform. And he was going to make a presentation along with an African-American young man who was tall and a teenager who was standing beside him, and they were making a presentation. The little guy had to stand on a stool to get up high enough so he could be heard. And he started to stumble, and his words weren't coming easy for him. And the young man who was taller, who was an Eagle Scout, leaned down and helped him. And if you could have seen the look on this little boy's face when somebody taller, bigger, different color skin reached down to help him, it was absolutely unbelievable. And that's what we're about. It's helping, it's leading, it's servant leadership, it's peer-to-peer. It's mentor of an Eagle Scout to a young Cub Scout as he's growing up. That's what we're all about. As an adult who's been involved with scouting for over 28 years, I can say without any hesitation, without any reservation, that scouting works, scouting matters, and scouting lasts for a lifetime.